Hey, what's up, guys? It's Paul from Christ Core again. We're going to be starting our heavy metal Bible study at 473 West 3rd Avenue in Columbus, starting Friday, March 21st at 6:30 p.m. Then we'll be doing the first and third Fridays of the month after that. But I wanted to just share real quick about the why. Why would we do this? Why are we doing this heavy metal themed Bible study? I grew up being a hardcore kid. I went to a lot of concerts, especially in college. My era of metalcore that I was a fan of was like Trivium, Whitechapel, Cannibal Corpse, stuff like that. Rockstar Mayhem Fest, and I believe 2009 was the first concert I ever went to, and I just was hooked after that. So I started going to local shows after that. Peabody's up in Cleveland, if you're familiar with that. I believe Cleveland State might have bought it, but it's gone now. But that was my stomping grounds back in college, like around 2010 to 2013. And I just went to a lot of concerts there. There was this band Winds of Plague that I went to see, and they had an opener called For Today. I had never heard of For Today before. If you're a Christian metal fan, you're probably very familiar with them, even though they broke up, I want to say maybe around like 2015 or 16. So they've been gone for a while. But I would always look at t-shirts because I wanted to see the merch before the show would start. And usually it's like always black t-shirts that are sitting there out like for sale. And I remember I thought it was really weird. I was like, why is there this red t-shirt? Like, it's not metal if it's a red t-shirt. It has to be black. And so I was like reading the text on the back of it, and it had this, what I found out later was a Bible verse. So I remember reading the back of that shirt, and it said, "Here I am, God, send me to the world." And I really hadn't heard that before. Later I found out it was a Bible verse. But it was really kind of my first glimpse of like I grew up as a Christian, but I didn't really take my faith more seriously until my freshman year of college. And I remember seeing that t-shirt, and I was like, oh, that's just kind of the red color, but also the Bible verse on it. Just kind of was like, wasn't expecting that. And so later, when the actual concert had started, I remember For Today was playing, and I'd never seen them before. And maybe about halfway through their set, I remember somebody in the mosh pit just yelled out, "F Jesus, Hail Satan," as Maddie, the vocalist, was trying to share part of his testimony. And I remember, I was like, oh, awkward moment. And I remember Maddie just kind of paused the music. He asked the band to stop, and he just looked right at the guy, as calm as could be. And he just said, like, hey, you yelling that at us isn't going to make us stop playing. Like, you think we haven't heard people say that to us before? Like, if that was going to be what makes this band stop playing, then we would have stopped playing a long time ago. And he just went on to share, like, his experience with God being real to him, and that being the reason why they were doing the band. They weren't doing it for crowd feedback and people to praise them. They were doing it because God was real to them, and they felt like he was calling them to do this music and share this message. And I just remember that was kind of the first time that I ever saw anybody like take a stand for Jesus in a hostile environment. Like, I grew up going to Christian school where it was like that was the in-crowd thing to do was to say you were a Christian. But here's somebody in a hostile environment with somebody cussing him out and saying he straight up doesn't want him there, but then taking the stand for Christ anyhow. And that really just planted a seed in my head and in my heart. And one of the things I liked is like what For Today and what a lot of other Christian bands did, like Wolves at the Gate, Sleeping Giant, and a whole bunch of others, is like they brought the gospel into the dark place. The band Impending Doom even has a lyric that says, "We are the gospel in the darkness." And I think that's so Jesus's heart. Like, that's what Jesus did when he came from heaven to earth, is he brought the gospel to us. And that's one of the things I want to do with Christ Core. It's like, let's kind of, to use fancy seminary language words, let's reduce the cultural distance between somebody and Jesus. So if we can kind of, take the same Christ, the same gospel, the same Bible, the same message, but maybe make it in the skin of the heavy metal community, maybe that makes it a little easier for somebody who's maybe not as comfortable to try a traditional church setting, and maybe they can get fed and grow closer to Christ, and maybe an environment that's maybe a little less difficult or uncomfortable for them to step into. So if you want to check that out, Friday, March 21st, 6:30 p.m., 473 West 3rd Avenue in Columbus, we'd love to have you.